the Cowboys two good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about.
Okay, we are live.
Oh, you know what?
You figure something out, B Bird?
No, go ahead on. We good.
Okay.
We live now, so we good.
All right. So this is Cowboy Joe with father and son Cowboys and Sports Talk. And we're on with the B Bird Cowboys. So my green screen just went out. So we're having all kinds of issues tonight.
Yeah,
But we gonna just roll with
we
it.
gonna make it, man.
So man, what you been up to? Just introduce yourself and tell us about your show and what you've been up to lately, because we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, I've been. We. I guess our show's been kind of bi-weekly it too. So that with the Marshawn Nealon news, man, and it was a bye week, so we didn't do a show last week. Just kind of my mind kind of wasn't into it.
Hmm.
That's much bigger than football, man, and when you have kids and kids around that age, that kind of touches you, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just tell everybody, man, just about that situation. I just stay in constant communication with your kids. I got kids in college. I got kids that's working. They got pressure on them. You never know what somebody's going through. You don't know what your kid's going through. Just reach out to them and just stay in constant conversation with them, because you just never know what they need. And during conversation, you may be able to find that out.
Yeah. So it was a thing that kind of just shut down the content creators for a few days for sure, and it's touched everybody in different ways. So I think the players are kind of coming around just to kind of they're doing some things together. They did yesterday. I think they did a community event. So even in my fraternity, we talked about it at the meeting and did all of that. So yeah, we just have to just stay in touch with our people and make sure that everybody knows that, hey, they're loved and they're cared for. So it's a tough situation. When I first saw it, I really had to just do a double take. I thought they were talking about Marshawn Lynch initially when I saw it, and I realized it was Marshawn Neal, and I was like, wow, this can't be happening. But so yeah, we're just trying to get back up and going here, and just do some content, kind of keep it moving. I saw Shotty's press conference, so they kind of moving forward a little bit, but they're gonna be thinking about Marshawn on Monday night for sure. And so with that in mind, I was telling Jules that I think at this point they should really be trying to figure out what's going on with Diggs and get him back in the facility as soon as they can, if he's not already there.
Yeah, I saw him. Actually, he's at the facilities working out. I think that was either yesterday or today. So
So
he's
he is
running
there.
around. Yeah. So, yeah, I think. I just think you're right. Diggs can be an asset if he comes back, even 90%. You know, I just think that really when you got people talented in the house and have that experience, you don't want to get into your emotions and get mad and stuff like that and make emotional decisions. You got to say, can this guy help our team? And if he can help, if he's better than the guys you got out there, put him out there. And so I just don't want them to keep any, I want them to use everything they got, all the talent they have, to try to turn this thing around. So here's a question, Joe. What do you think about what do you think our chances are this season with the rest of the games, the schedule, and what our record is now?
So I've been looking at it quite a bit, looking at the other team schedules. There's a way that you could end up the year that we acquired Amari Cooper. I think we were 3-5 when we got him,
Yeah,
and they ended up making the playoffs. So I think this year could go the same way. It's going to start with the Vegas game. They just got to win that one first,
yeah,
and then I think if you do get that one, we'll talk about that game, and then it basically sets up. We've been talking about this on our show. It's another playoff game with the Eagles coming in, and they're not invincible. You can
they're
beat them.
not.
What they do is when you play the Eagles, what I noticed, they just wait for you to make a mistake.
That's what. Yeah,
and they don't really do a whole lot. They just sit back and they just wait. And then when you make a mistake, they capitalize. I thought that the Green Bay's coach LaFleur, I didn't think he had a good game. Was it Sunday night or Monday night when they played?
That was
It was Monday.
Monday night. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he made some coaching mistakes in that game that really cost them. But Philly, they don't do a lot. They just wait for you to make a mistake, and then they capitalize. But this Raider game, I mean, at this point, man, I just think that it's just going to be a game to game thing. But to answer your question, there's a way for them to get in because a lot of these teams are going to be playing each other.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you got to look at Carolina, Chicago. You kind of feel like they may drop off. So, we have just have you been kind of analyzing the schedules and seeing how it might fall?
No, actually, yeah, I was kind of detached. I just started getting reattached to what's going on because, again, the Marshawn Nealon news was just kind of knocked me for a loop. But I'm kind of getting back involved. I hadn't looked that far down the line because really, if you don't beat the Raiders, then all the rest of them don't matter. But we got a tough schedule to end out with. I can tell you that much. I know we got Kansas City in there. We got Philadelphia in there. We got Washington again. They're not playing well, but they always try to play us well. And we got some other tough teams in there to play. We got Minnesota. We got the Chargers. So we got some tough teams to play. We kind of put ourselves up against the wall. I can tell you that much. And I asked this question on Twitter, and I didn't really get a good answer. And I'll ask you. I may have asked you already, but I asked you again. If you know you're going to make a trade, right? Why do teams wait to the trade deadline to make the trade?
Well, we can talk about our team. They came up with the phrase. They have so many monikers. It's the right kind of guy, hang around the rim. One of the ones that Jerry's so proud of is deadline makes deals.
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked for 30 years, but that's what they do. Some of these other teams, they just make a move when they need to.
Yeah.
I'm always going to talk about the 49ers, the Ravens, the Eagles. They'll make deals before the deadline.
Yeah.
And the Eagles they did make some deals.
Yeah.
But with Dallas, that's just their thing, man. It's just, again, they just don't have anybody in the franchise just telling them to do anything different.
Correct. And I think they're complicit with it, right? Some of the guys, McClay and all those guys.
Yeah.
But I would say this too. The reason why I asked that is because I think we're 3-5-1, right? 3-5-1.
Yeah.
Well, suppose 2 games ago we make these moves. That's why I like when people say the deadline, the trade deadline. If I know I need a guy and I need to go get him, how much is a game worth to you? How much is 2 games worth to you? You know what I'm saying? And so when you wait that long, and that's why, and let's go and get on. I'm going to get on something that people were saying, and I'm going to tell you my thought process on the trade. So I like the trade. I like getting Logan Wilson because I think what we didn't have any leadership or that veteran savvy, that Sean Lee-ish type things, not just because they're 2 white guys, but just have that knowledge, can get everybody lined up. We missed that. And Quentin Williams just speaks for itself. He's just a talented defensive tackle, something we've been needing for a while. So I was reading some comments. People say, y'all need to get off Jerry, and hey, Jerry shut me up, and all this other kind of stuff. I don't think that way, and I don't know if you do. But I'm going to tell you why I don't. And I got an analogy. So if I have to go and tell my son, now he's 21 now, at 16, when he was 16 years old, to clean his room up every time I open the door, I got to say, hey, you need to clean your room up, it's dirty. Every time I open the door, you got to clean your room up, it's dirty. Versus whenever I open the door, the room's already clean at 9 o'clock in the morning when he gets up, right? Mm-hmm. The difference in that is that he is the first part, he's cleaning the room up is a reaction to me. The first one is just an action. This is what you do. It's part of who you are. I wake up, I make up my bed, and I clean up my room. That's what my daughter is. She won't even open the door until her room is clean and everything is right. because that's who you are. So what I'm saying is Jerry was made to do this because he was embarrassed by how the defense played, juxtaposed against Micah becoming the defensive player of the month, juxtaposed against an offense that's one of the best offenses in the league. And the thing that failed him was his defense, and you took one of the best players off. So I can't give him, because it's not in his DNA to do this. He's been forced to make these trades because he made a mistake, and he's trying to cover for his mistake. Now, if this is his mode of operation, then I'll be like, yeah, that's just Jerry being Jerry. But this is more what it's more what I'm talking is more what Howie Roseman does. He sees some deficiencies on his team, and he goes out and get that. A trade deadline, in free agency, or in the draft. Jerry it got to be dire for him to go and do it. So it was dire time. Hey, guess when else it was dire? When we got Amari Cooper.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So he has to be made to do stuff. And anytime you're made to do stuff, that means that you're not going to do it on your own. Like I would have to make my son make up the bed at 16 years old because he's just not going to do it on his own. And anytime that means it's not in you, right? And so what you're going to default back to? You're going to default back to the old stuff. So that's why I really give him credit because he operates outside his mode. This is not a change of what he's going to do or what he's doing. It's kind of the same thing. He just had to do this because he was looking bad, the team's looking bad, and people was booing him the last game too. So
yeah, so it's just the way the organization is structured. A leopard doesn't change its stripes. They're just dysfunctional. B-Bird. They've been that way for 30 years. When Jimmy was here, they were buttoned up. They were, they had a standard. They had a way of operating. And so what they've done the last 30 years is kind of the same thing. So yeah, they should have made the trades a few weeks earlier. I don't know if you lose to Carolina. The games that's going to kill us is the Carolina game and the Cardinals game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you lose either one of those games, and the Bears loss. I just looking at it now, we can say the Bears might be on to something because they're winning.
Well, I would definitely agree with you, and I would also say that Carolina is not as bad as we thought they were either. Mm-hmm. But did you see what happened to the Cardinals last week? Now that what made us look bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and
they laid an egg and they beat us. So
yeah, that's and again, that Cardinals game, that was just a killer game. And unfortunately, that game, we had so many turnovers. I think without the turnovers, I feel pretty good about that game. But the offense, the way they've been playing, you knew they were going to have a few bad games here.
Yeah.
And what you've been saying, what I've been saying, is when your offense is turning the ball over, when they're not playing good, your defense has to stop the other team. And we didn't do that. The Arizona Cardinals, prior to playing us, they had one 74-yard drive.
I saw that
in their season. And then in our game, they had two.
Yeah, I saw that stat, man.
So, yeah, I just think that, and I've talked about this dozens of times, we know what you do in your career. The company that I work for, we were just, we had a standard way of operating. We were forward thinking. Whatever there was that was new and innovative, we were going to do it. If it means we go and talk to a mom and pop operation like Chick-fil-A, just look at their operation, we're going to do that. This organization, they have not done that. And so it's dysfunctional. So now you've made these trades, and man, boy, it's gonna be tough making it to a playoff. I mean, you can do it. I think some of these teams are gonna come back to the pack. I think did Detroit play last Sunday? Because I know they lost to Chicago.
They played. I can't remember who they played though.
And then I'm taking a second look at Green Bay too, B-Bird. Because I just Jordan Love, I'm just not impressed with him. I just never have been. He plays good against us.
Yeah, he definitely does. Yeah.
But man, he is just all over the place. I mean, he was not good Monday night.
The Lions played against the Commanders last week.
Yeah, and so we thinking that the Packers going to run away with this thing and be in the NFC Championship game. I'm not so sure about that. Just watching them for a couple of games, it's interesting how that thing is playing out because a lot of people up there, from what I'm hearing on Twitter, their fans are not happy with the coach.
Yeah.
So, but now Jordan Love, man, you could look up, and the Packers could fall back too.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right because they really could be a wild card team. I'm looking at the scores. I saw interesting. The Broncos beat the Raiders 10-7, and the Eagles beat the Packers 10-7.
Yeah, the
The
Broncos
Saints
struggle too.
the Saints beat the Panthers 17-7.
Yeah,
The Cowboys defense don't know nothing about winning games. Offense knows nothing about winning games like that. 10-7, 17
yeah.
to 7. Now we got to score 38 points to win the game.
And what you
Our
just said
defense,
right there, those three games you mentioned,
yeah,
that's your answer on how we make the playoffs because those teams, there is no dominant team, and every week, every other week, somebody's going to be losing to somebody. So what you got to do now, the Raider game, the I'm not taking it for granted, but the Eagle game is going to be huge.
yeah. Well, man, wow, we still in second place. It's crazy. This division is terrible.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, we can't beat the Raiders, man. We shouldn't even be mentioned in the playoff situation. That's all it is to it.
I don't even know if Geno Smith is playing, uh, but if Geno Smith plays, B Bird, we can absolutely lose a game
So,
because he's
a
he's
question was,
another he's another quarterback that he can pick you apart or he can play bad. You don't know what
yeah.
version you're going to get.
So, what do you think Logan Wilson's status will be for the game? You think he'll be the starter or a back coming off the bench or what?
Well, I mean, I could tell you what I would be doing. I think I would have Logan Wilson over Sean on a pitch count. Now, um, I think Quentin Williams, he's been playing the whole time.
Yeah,
So I think Logan Wilson hasn't played for a couple of weeks because he kind of got benched,
yeah.
not because of his talent, because he was just I'm out, I'm not with this program. So they
Well,
started playing the other guys.
yeah. So I think they had a rookie kind of making some strides, and so they kind of saw the future, and they said we're
Yeah.
going to take our lumps with this rookie and just go forward with it.
Now
But
Jerry and Steven would
yeah.
have him play 80 plays, which would be dumb.
Well, now I'm gonna tell you this though. I differ for you a little bit. Logan Wilson, uh, he wasn't starting, but he's it's not like he's been on the IR or anything.
So
So
he's been playing, yeah.
he's been playing. So I would, if he knows the defense, which that's what we brought him over here for diagnosing plays, getting everybody
Yeah.
set up. Hey, let's put him out there and see what we got. I'm tired of guys running through the wrong holes and being in the wrong everything else.
I
Quentin
agree with
Williams been
that.
playing the whole time. Now, one thing that goes good with us is that we got those guys in a bye week, so it's not like
Hmm.
a short week or anything like that. We got them in the bye week, and so whereas it wasn't much practice last week, that doesn't mean that he wasn't conferring with the linebackers coach and the defensive back. Excuse me, defense coordinator and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully those kind of things happened last week. Quentin Williams, just go down there and be a beast.
Yeah.
That's what we need. One thing,
What about Overshawn?
Overshawn, now that's the one that, man, I differ on that.
Hmm.
I love the talent, but he's fragile, man. And he's coming up. And one thing I have noticed, and it rings true, most people, and you probably heard this before too, Joe, they say when you first come back from an ACL, that first year you okay, but the next year is when you really do it. So that's the same situation here. That's why a lot of people are like, man, we get Overshawn back, we get Overshawn back. It sounds good on paper,
Yeah.
but he may not be the same player right off the bat. He may be that in 2026. And so, but if we got 80% of him, he's probably better than a lot of the other guys. I just don't want to see him re-injure anything. Hopefully, we're not rushing him back or anything like that. Because I did see a photo of him today in practice. He had his brace back on again. So
He had it back on today.
yeah,
And myself, I would be fine with him keeping and playing in the brace. I would just be curious to see if they've, the technology with these things, if it's going to slow him down. But if it's not, I would wear it. But so to your point, we saw what happened when Terrence Steele came back from the ACL. It took him a while. Michael Gallup. So a lot of these guys that come off that ACL, it takes you a few games to kind of get back in sync. But I agree. So Quentin Williams, Logan Wilson, you got Donovan Wilson probably playing hooker. So you know, I was disappointed they wasn't able to get Minka Fitzpatrick. I really wanted
Yeah,
him
me
with
too,
that
man. I
deal.
think now, and I'm not giving him a lot of credit, but man, that would have been ice on the cake there,
Yeah,
because really to me, these moves are for this year, but it's really for next year.
yeah,
Yeah, and so I think if you got a Minka, man, you would address every level, right? You would address
yeah,
the defensive line, you would address the linebackers, you would address the defensive backs, and I'm 100%. I was waiting, man. Then 4 o'clock came. I was like, that dog doesn't happen. Well, hopefully it
yeah,
happens at the deadline. They're going to announce it later, but nothing happened. So hopefully there may be an off-season deal. But I am team talent, man. I am team acquiring talent. And don't worry about misses. I think the Cowboys worry about misses on acquisitions too much. Hey,
hmm,
all the ones that Philadelphia got, they ain't all hit, man. Some of those guys miss, and they pay guys good money. That Bryce, I can't think of his name. He never even saw the field. They got him last year, and he never saw the field. They paid him a lot of money. I think he's with maybe Arizona now or somebody. But
yeah,
they missed on it. They missed on a few things, but they trying. And that's what
yeah.
the Cowboys, they worry about. Jones worry about looking bad, missing on acquisitions. Don't worry about missing on. Just go get some guys that, do your due diligence, do your research. But if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out, man. You try. I'm not going to knock a GM for trying to get better.
Yeah, and I think too, we talked about this on our show the other night. What I did is the other thing that's kind of frustrating is, content creators and Cowboy fans. I think when you watch the games, it's clear as day to me that Turpin is not 100%. You can just tell with the way he runs. He's not running full speed. You can tell that Tyler Smith is not 100%. And then the other one was Bland. So I think coming off this bye, what I'm going to be looking at is I just want to see Turpin on that first kickoff and that first punt, and I'll be able to tell you how he's playing because I don't think he's been healthy. Um, they should have played for Flanoy more.
Oh
Um,
man, I got that written down as you was just talking about that.
I was surprised they didn't move Tolbert because you got too many guys in the wide receiver room. You're trying to play Flanoy, you're trying to play Mingo, so that's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. But yeah, I think I'm looking for the first quarter. I'm gonna look at those three guys, and I can just tell you how they're looking. Because Turpin, Tyler Smith, and Bland, they just don't look healthy to me where they didn't.
Yeah.
So
So what do you think about this is another thing I don't like. People are not necessarily. I don't know if the team is doing it, but Siobhan Ravel,
Savon Revell, yeah,
yeah, him, the cornerback. Two things. He's coming off an ACL injury, and he's a rookie cornerback. The expectation for him should not be high at all,
yeah,
and they shouldn't be putting any pressure on him. Like, we're getting him back. We don't even know what he is, and it's rare that rookie cornerbacks, unless you like a top 6 pick, come in and just kind of lock down. They don't really do that.
Well, and the other thing is about the defense. We'll touch on that. And I just said I'm gonna stop saying the defensive coordinator's name and just call him the defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Uh, that's what I'm gonna do the rest of the way. So I was reading up on Savon Revell last week, and one of the things I noticed is that he's a man cover corner, but that's not what we're gonna ask him to do.
yeah,
So he's gonna be out there. His dad has been on the on some shows
yeah.
talking.
I saw pictures of him. Yeah,
But yeah, he's a press man corner, and so in this defense, he's gonna be out there kind of on an island, 5 to 10 yards off the receiver. So even if you're not gonna know how he looks.
yeah,
So hopefully, what the defensive coordinator will do after this bye, he's gonna have to make some adjustments. I think he's gonna have to play a 5-2 where you have Kenneth Clark,
yeah.
Quentin Williams, and Osa on the field together
Hmm.
with Easy Raku, what's a Clowney. I will say this: I'm really confident on how our defensive line is going to play. I think we're going to stop the run. I think we're going to set the edge, and so I think the front of that defense is going to be nice. What concerns me still is the back end. Do you have the corners playing a lot of zone, and then Donovan Wilson and Hooker at safety? So that's my concern about the defense.
Yeah. And so, but you touched on something that I just can't understand why. We talked about this before, but I do not understand why Flournoy is not getting more run. I think at the end of the last game they gave him some, but it was kind of almost in trash time. And I'm
Yeah,
like, this guy performed when you gave him an opportunity, and then when CD came back, now he's on the bench.
yeah.
Now I know you paid what's his name, the kick returner, so,
Turpin, Cavante Turpin.
yeah, Turpin. You paid him and Tolbert, and you like Tolbert, but Flournoy is outplayed. Neither one of those guys have had a game like Flournoy had.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why he's on the bench. When a guy shows you that, you got to kind of feed him some more and see what you got in him.
Yeah.
And I don't. And so that Turpin's hurt. I'm not really worried about that. I just we got somebody that can play that
Because
position.
you got another
I
guy.
think that Flournoy has shown that he's actually a better number 3 than anybody on our team at this point in time.
And that's why I thought they should have tried to move Tolbert.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Like,
Mingo still hasn't played.
nah, shit, that Mingo trade ain't looking too good. But let me ask you a question about Tolbert. Listen, I'm gonna take you and put you at. I'm gonna make you the New Orleans Saints GM. Why would you want Tolbert?
Well, so he had 7 touchdowns last year. And then Kellen Moore is familiar with him. The Saints would have been the team that I thought that would have showed some interest,
Yeah,
but everybody else, honestly, is probably not impressed, even though he had 7 touchdowns. So yeah, it's just I haven't heard anything about if they even tried to move him. Brian Broaddus made a comment that people in the front office are still considering that him and Dak are real close and all of that. But yeah, to answer your question, B Bird, the rest of this season, he's going to be behind Flournoy, and I'm going to take a look at Mingo over Tolbert. That's what I would do, because
yeah,
Tolbert is not going to be here next year.
yeah. You got to figure out what's going on with Mingo, man.
Yeah,
They spent that draft pick on him and all that kind of stuff. And I know he's on IR, but he should be back by now, right?
yeah, and so the rest of the year, I'm trying to figure out a way to play Mingo. I know we're looking at Flournoy, Tolbert, Sam Williams. I've seen enough. So Sam Williams and Tolbert are not going to be on the team next year. We know that. So that being the case, just play Clowney, Izuruku, and just kind of look at guys that are going to be on the team next year. So, but yeah, you got to figure out how to get Mingo out there to get him some plays, and we don't have no idea what he can do. We just haven't seen
Yeah,
him play.
we don't have anything. We don't have no idea what he can do. Right now, that trade looks like a big old bust, man.
Yeah, that one and the other trade they made from the quarterback whose name escapes me at the moment.
Trey,
What was it? Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's time to start looking at some guys. But I think on the offensive side, what we looking at too in this next game is, can we get back on track? Now, one thing we didn't do, what we didn't address, B-Bird, was the backup running back. We didn't do anything there either.
Yeah,
So I think they cut Malik Davis again, which was odd.
yeah. I think they brought him back, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
So
Now, Blue has shown some flashes though, right? Do you think?
he did show some flashes. They were making some comments today on 105.3 that they still kind of concerned with him, picking up the pass protection and some other stuff. But yeah, he just needs to play. In the meantime, the running backs, it just should be Javonte, Malik Davis and Blue. It's just they still are doing some odd things, because what will happen is, you knock on wood, if Javonte, gets injured, gets banged up, you really don't know who you got there.
Yeah.
And you're gonna, put Blue out there full time. It'll be kind of scary. But Malik Davis, he should be ready to play if he has to. So, but yeah,
He did get a few carries last couple of games too. Not many, but maybe
he
two.
did.
I had to pick him up because he was I think he's number 43.
Yeah, and
that kind of threw me off.
So my son likes Love from Notre Dame. I've been checking him out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would take him over any other guys. So I've been kind of looking at the draft a little bit. So surprisingly, they got Anthony Hill, the linebacker from Texas. They got him in the second round right now, which is kind of weird. But they got some other linebackers in front of them. So that being said, what I'm doing is this offseason, Vash Lombardi, shout out to him. He's really good with this. He said no matter who you have on your team, you draft a player in that same position and just try to push them down. So even though they have Logan Wilson, I would definitely still take a linebacker high if one is there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
definitely would too. Yeah,
and
because we've tried to bubble gum and duct tape that position for long.
yeah,
That and safety, man.
hmm
A safety is a big need. We need a prime time safety back there. That could be a top draft pick, like a number one first round draft pick.
So the safety from Ohio State, we may not be.
Yeah, he probably won't be there, right?
Yeah, he'll be gone. You have to probably move up to get him. But it's a couple of other guys. But yeah, and then you could reach out to the Dolphins again in the offseason to try to get that thing worked out with Minka. But but yeah, I think in this game coming up, man, you got to get off to a good start. I just want to know is Gino playing or not? Because if Gino is playing,
Well,
it's gonna be a game.
that's why I hit my head down looking at it.
Yeah.
And they were saying that he was hobbling. This was yesterday.
Okay.
It said, let me
So
see what it says.
I don't even know who their backup is.
I don't either. I think it's a young guy.
But yeah.
It said, with any hopes of a competitive season virtually over, the focus has to be on Smith's health. Officially diagnosed as a quad contusion, he will remain a question mark for week 11. So we
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. If he don't play, I feel good about our chances. But
But the
it
offensive line has been terrible too this year.
and Genty hasn't been good because of the
Well,
line.
they say their line is one of the worst in the league,
Yeah.
which
So,
bodes well for us, right?
but we playing on grass, so we've talked
Yeah.
about that a lot. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. I just want to survive this game, get a win, and then bring the Eagles in because, like I said, it's gonna be. I just got a feeling it's gonna go down to the last week with this playoff thing.
Yeah.
And I think if we can just kind of just hang in there, win some games, going to Detroit, it's gonna be tough.
I
Uh,
had a quote in here I wanted to read to you. I got somewhere. This might be it right here. Hold on. Okay. So let me get my glasses on because I can't see. So he's talking about. You remember uh, Indianapolis traded for Sauce Gardner.
huh.
So this is. I want to see. I don't know if this is it, but I'm gonna read it to you. It says so. On morning, the GM Ballard took the case for acquiring Gardner to Ursay Gordon, the owner, right? Explaining how the 24-year-old would help the Colts in 2025 and be a significant building block for the future. In Lou Anarumo's run defense that was different from the old Gus Bradley scheme. Ballard and his scouts had to adjust for corners going from role players under Bradley to pillars in the way the defense coordinator set up his system. So what I captured that to say that he had to make a pitch to the owner on why he wanted to acquire the cornerback. The owner had to in turn
It's a female. She's a female. The owner's a female.
yeah, she had to agree to it, and the reason why I brought that up is because you see the back and forth between owner and GM.
Yeah.
So the GM has to convince the owner to get players. I've been telling people this for the longest. All the GM cares about is getting players, man. They always want the best players, and the owner is like, how much it costs. But when that's one person, either you're going to be 100% owner or 100% GM. You can't be half and half. And so his mentality is owner. That's why he don't acquire people, man, until he's forced to do.
So the question that I would have for you and other Cowboy fans, B-Bird, is if you're a multi-billion-dollar organization, so he's one of the guys. We know who Jerry is. Steven is there. I saw Charlotte on TV yesterday. Um, you got some other people there, Will McClay. It is absolutely stunning to me that no one has talked him into changing that equation to where that he's not both. Just how is this still happening? So, and I was telling my son this the other night. I was like, he in his mid 30s. I'm in my 60s. I said at some point you won't be dealing with Jerry Jones. It's just not gonna. Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
However, it's still stunning to watch that role that you have him playing, that he's still doing both 30 years later, and no one has just convinced him to do something different.
So what I think great corporations do, they don't do it as much anymore, and they have a diversity. And I'm not talking about a diversity in color or race. I'm talking about in thought.
Yeah.
I think you got to have people not on the same plane of thought, or not just getting behind what the president of the organization wants to do. You got to have, hey, why don't we do this? Why aren't we doing that? Or, hey, wouldn't it be better if we do this? The challenging has to come in. Or what ends up happening is people just say, you know what, to keep my job, just going to agree and just follow whatever he does.
That's
Well,
what
if that's
that's
the
what
case,
Will McClay is doing.
that's what Miller, and me and you kind of think the same on that. Like, that's why
Yeah.
we really do think that. Because what needs to happen is to say, hey, look, Jerry, let's talk. Hey, we've been doing this for a while this way. But what if we did it this way? What if we actually went to the free agents pool and got free agents? We got these holes at linebacker. Why don't we go get one of the better linebackers and just shore it up? Kind of like what that GM Ballard told the owner. Hey, we can patchwork this thing, or we can go get a guy. Because I remember him saying that. I didn't print that out in the whole article because I took a picture of it. He said we could patchwork it, or we can go get a guy. And they got a guy, and his name is Sauce Gardner. And so what they did, they went and got a guy. And that's what you have to do. Those kind of guys is what get you over the hump, man. Like those, we talk about that coming out of training camp, who's going to be the 53rd man. That guy is not going to, the odds of him helping you do anything is slim and none. It's your top flight guys. And, that's what you got to require. So just think right now, man, if we had Logan Wilson and Quentin Williams to start the year off.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago. We probably at least have 2 more wins, man.
And so here's the other thing that's kind of really weird about this organization is that there are times when they come in and they, for example, we know that he wanted Johnny Manziel, and Steven and some other people in the front office told him, we're not taking him. Jerry really wanted him.
Yeah.
And so they were able to talk him down. And I talk about Rob Marinelli a lot on our show. I think a lot of people have this idea that Rob Marinelli was a great coach and he was, this and that. I think he was not good at all in terms of, I didn't think his scheme was good. But another thing that Rob Marinelli did, they basically allowed Rob Marinelli to be the general manager in a couple of drafts because the scouting department, they wanted TJ Watt. And Rob Marinelli said he doesn't fit my scheme. Yeah. And he wanted Taco. And so that's another example where even though Jerry is the GM, he has the final say, where he does at times, he will kind of let people do things. But I think in some of the major decisions, and that was one, taking Zach Martin over Johnny Football there. But it shows you the inconsistency of the organization, because someone should have talked to him about this Micah deal and said, hey, we're not doing this. This is the same type of deal we did that didn't, we willing to do this. And then with some of these player acquisitions, so I talked about Taco, and it was another one. Oh, I don't even know if you know this story. I was going to tell you this. So in the 2016 draft, the scouts, they liked Jalen Ramsey. They had Jalen Ramsey and Zeke, the tags were touching, okay? So the front office, they were leaning toward Jalen Ramsey. But Rob Marinelli came in and told the front office, first of all, he wasn't sure if Jalen Ramsey was a corner or a safety. And then he told the front office they should take Zeke because it would help the team overall. So again, that was another example of where Jerry's like, okay, I'm gonna let you guys kind of do your thing here, but he's been inconsistent with it, and
Yeah.
so that's
Now I heard that story, and when people tell that story, they tell it like the Cowboys blew it on that pick.
Mhm.
I still would take Zeke over Jalen Ramsey, to be honest with you.
well, we had Zeke rated higher too, and
Yeah,
the reason we wanted Zeke is because we were thinking we were taking Zeke for Tony Romo at the time.
absolutely.
That's what
That's
it,
gonna be a lethal combination.
yeah, and it
Yeah,
would have worked.
yeah, it definitely would have
And,
worked.
and it did work.
Yeah,
But still, but again, it just shows you that even though he throws his weight around a lot with some of these decisions, um, sometimes he'll let the coaches, and that's one
well,
of my concerns I have with the defensive coordinator. By the way, I think what they finna do now, I think they're gonna make a course correction. And the scary thing is they could allow your defensive coordinator to run this upcoming draft, and that'd be a really bad idea.
yeah, I kind of know I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I think back to the draft though. How many hours of film you think Jerry watch on draft picks?
He don't. He doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. So he's more likely to get talked out of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he don't watch none of that stuff, man. Stephen
No.
Jones don't watch none of that stuff, man. That's
No.
Will McClay on down, man. That's who's doing all that work. They sit up in the draft room and talk about this and that with the Joneses got them all on camera. Them dudes ain't watching no film, man. Put it this way, that Colts owner probably watched more film than Jerry and Stephen combined, man.
Yeah.
The lady. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
He gets involved in all the emotional stuff,
correct,
and when
correct.
he has to spend money that we think is coming out of his account, that's when he gets involved. That's
Yes.
what happened with this Micah deal too.
So I think, man, back to the Raiders, man. We'll get back on track a little bit. I'm looking at some things I've heard. They said, Gettintg wasn't having a good year, but he's not having a good year. They said I watched some of the Raiders, man. I think they played against the Broncos, and the quarterback was under siege every snap, man. It was bad. Like their offensive line is really bad,
Yeah.
and then to say that they're bad, that's probably why Gettintg is. I mean, if
Yeah.
you can't pass block like that, you probably can't run block no better. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And so
And I don't even know who their receivers are.
Well, and they just traded Jacoby Myers. That was their best receiver.
Mm.
So they're down Jacoby Myers. So
Now the tight end
now
is
he's
one of the best. Is he
yeah,
playing?
He's the best. Brock Bowers.
Is he gonna play?
Yeah, he's playing.
So
We'll go back to it.
I don't know who we would have that would cover him.
Yeah, but he can't catch 50 balls though.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then Pete Carroll, boy, he just looks old over there, man. He's always been kind of up there, but he really looks old. So it's like, why that was not a good idea hiring Pete
I
Carroll.
didn't like that hire for them anyway. But that's them. I don't. I'm like,
Yeah,
he's old. He's old 10 years ago.
yeah, but he really looking it now,
Yeah.
and just like he got, yeah. So, but yeah, this game right here, it's a trap game. But we should be able to go in here and
Well, let me tell you why it's not a trap game. When you 3-5-1, ain't no trap games.
you the trap game.
You trap game. Sure, right. You the trap game.
You are the trap game.
Yeah, so at 3-5-1, we shouldn't be taking anybody lightly. That means that we've lost 5 games, and some of those games are teams that we thought we was going to be able to beat. And so, we are the trap game.
So the Cardinals went up and down the field on us, and the next week they lose 27-0.
Yeah, but no, they lost. They got a whole bunch of points put up on them.
Yeah, it's like, man, no. So, but yeah, Jerry, he got a couple of trades in, so I'm just waiting to see what this front gonna look like, because I just think you got to play all of those guys. You got to have Clark, Quentin Williams, and Osa on the field, I believe, at the same time.
Yeah, I think so, because they got they playing some 5-2, right?
Yeah, that you're gonna have to. So that means that you're gonna take one of the linebackers out. Obviously everybody's thinking about Murray coming out for Overshawn and Logan Wilson. So, look, I feel good about the linebackers. I feel good about the line. The secondary is still your problem.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
Cardinals
issue.
lost 44-22 last week to
Wow.
Seattle. Seattle's been
Yeah.
playing ball too, man. So they balling too.
Well, so one thing we need to talk about real quick, what Jerry keeps doing, the organization, they never have a transition plan. They never have. I think the trend is young defensive coordinators, and so I was kind of talking about, a lot of the young coordinators are African American. That's kind of a thing. But what I have noticed is young white coaches too. The league is trending toward young, innovative coordinators. They got them. There's a guy, Mentor. He's the Chargers coordinator. Have you checked him out?
No.
I mean, they playing some good ball. And then the Seattle. So Aiden Durden was here. He
Yeah,
was defensive line coach for us. So now he's their coordinator. He's a young guy.
yeah.
So that's the trend. And so what the Cowboys need to do in the offseason is just, again, that's what my company did that I worked for 33 years. Man, you were not going to beat us doing anything. And if we had to change something on a dime, whatever the latest thing is, man, it was just a lot of times it was just you come in to office one day, you're doing something, next day you're doing because they were never ever gonna get caught behind the chains on anything.
Yeah.
And this organization doesn't do that. And
Yeah.
the defensive coordinator needs to be that kind of coach.
One thing I did like that they did is with the Quinn and Williams. I like they made the move for him, and I did. I texted that to my son and said, "Hey, look, we got this guy, and of course he knows who Quentin Williams is. But the thing I like about it is that we got him for 2 more years after this.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a rental or anything like that,
Right.
which is what the Hendrickson would have been, because you'd have to worry about him being a free agent in the offseason. So I like the fact that they got somebody that's going to be here because, again, your window is pretty much Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I figured Dak probably got at least 2 more years playing at this level. And that's what you ought to be gearing up for the next 2 years.
And you need to get Pickens signed if you're gonna franchise him.
Well, I'm gonna tell you about that. I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you good.
I don't think Pickens is a guy that's gonna be accepting no franchise tag, man.
Well, we know his agent probably isn't.
Well, no, he's not. Like those guys are like, if you really think about it, the franchise tag has really been used probably about 10 times in the league. We've used it 5 ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We use it because no GM wants to tie up that much cap space money, because that money is flat cap space money. So if you franchise it for $32 million, it's counting $32 million against your cap. It hinders you on actually signing other players. Well, that only matters if you can lose your job. And I always say that. I'm like a broken record. But the Joneses get to use it because they're not going to lose their job.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, it doesn't bring about, like most people use it just to buy time to sign a player. And then the tag goes away. But the Cowboys actually use it like, no, we're going to, and Pickens, I don't think his disposition is to be franchise tag for 1 year and risk getting hurt when he can sign a long-term deal.
I agree. So Mark, is it Mark Holmes? The content creator? It is Mark Holmes, one of the OGs. So I've been listening to him off and on this week. Okay. So he is pretty sure, and I've heard Jeff Kavanaugh and some other guys talk about this. The Cowboys could do a couple of moves, B-Bird. They would literally have over $100 million in salary cap space. So that being the case, there is absolutely no reason for them this offseason to not go all in. Get Pickens signed, have a good draft and go get you a safety. And they can do it, but you know who we dealing with.
Yeah.
They just don't do a good job with it. And so they running out of excuses with this cap situation. This year was another one.
Well, I think Joe, what's happening is the fans are getting more, and I think what we have is, in Cowboy Nation, you have probably about 5% like us that are dedicated to finding more information, dedicated to, let's see if that's real or not, a little bit of critical thought. But then you got other people that be like, man, Dak is $6 million against the cap. If you want to pay so much, no. Why do other teams sign players? Uh, their franchise quarterback can still go sign other players. You got to ask
Yeah,
yourself that question. Now we got this thing called the internet, to where
yeah,
you can go and find all that information. But
hmm
most fans don't want to find that. If they don't care to go look. They just want to kind of regurgitate some stuff.
yeah,
But I think more fans are starting to get it. Like, nah, man. And then they listen to other content creators that break it down more than I am. They'll say like, nah, man, the Cowboys, Lando, he says it all the time. He said, man, the salary cap is just a accounting concept.
yeah,
It's just guidelines. And he says that all the time. He said, man, the Cowboys or any other team in the NFL could do whatever they want to do. Like you can, and what Philadelphia is doing, and I know I say this all the time, is that they just put their money into the future. They're the big part of the cap hits. They push it in the future, and then what's going to happen in the future? The cap's going to go up, and then a new contract comes in 2029, so it's going to really go up. So they're not even going to suffer at that point in time. So it's just, I think the fans really have to kind of get smarter and hold the Cowboys more accountable as far as the cap is concerned. I said this in the offseason. We as Cowboy fans know way too much about, or concern ourselves way too much about the cap.
yeah.
Do you think Philadelphia fans worry about the cap? They just know they signed a player. They don't care about the cap. We just signed that guy. I don't care how they figured it out.
Mm-mm. No,
We know too much about it.
and I told you the company I work for. I've said it a million times on this show. So I work for FedEx. You know what they will be doing if they own the Cowboys. For the last 4 or 5 years, I would have been in 300 meetings, and what they would have had up on the big screen, they would have had the Philadelphia Eagles. This is what they're doing.
That's
And
right.
they would have been like, everybody in this room, you either figure out how to do this, or we're gonna get rid of you.
Yeah.
That's what we did. This company right here, this team, that's all you would be looking at. You would be in meetings every day
Yeah.
looking at that team. They would have what the 49ers are doing up on the board. They would have engineers they would be looking at that, and they would say, if we don't beat this company right here. So you familiar with UPS.
Yes, sir.
So when I first started working for FedEx, UPS at that time, they had enough money to just put us out of business, to buy our company and put us out. But the reason they didn't is because we were really smarter than them. And so it didn't take a lot of time either. So they were beating us in every category, every measurement you can think of. But it didn't take long. We became same type of company, doing things better, because the company, the man that owned the company, he just wasn't going to settle for less. He was a Green Beret,
Yeah.
and it was ran like a military company. But he was just like, no, this company over here, these brown people, we're gonna figure out a way to either compete with them on the same level and get ahead of them. But the Cowboys organization, it's just so basic. It's elementary.
Well, it's so the thing about it is, even back when Jimmy came in, he came in at a time when the New York Giants had just won a championship, and the Washington had just won a championship. So what he said was, this is the target, this is the goal, this is what we're shooting for. What do we have to do to be able to beat them? Because if we could beat them, we could beat anybody else in the league. Those are Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Not only can we beat them, so we just got to win the NFC East. What we got to do to win the NFC East, we got to beat Washington, and we got to build our team to beat Washington. We got to build our team to beat the New York Giants.
In Philly.
If we could beat them, yeah. But Philly hadn't won a Super Bowl. They still was competitive though.
Yeah.
And so if we could beat those guys, then we're going to be number one. That's no different than what your boss came in and said. Hey, UPS, that's what you said it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to beat UPS. What can we do to beat UPS? I need ideas, because I want to be better than UPS. And once you strive to do that, even if you miss, you're still going to be up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what it is. That UPS was his target. Like, that's the target. That's the goal right there. And so we had the goal set up for us this year, because Philadelphia and Washington made the NFC Championship game last year. So what they really should have did theoretically is, if that don't light a fire under you, I just don't know what will. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And those trades should have been made the beginning in training camp.
Yeah. And so, but free agency should have been attacked differently. But we
Yeah,
attacked it the same way we always did. Wait about a month and a half and go sign a guy nobody else wrong. A guy begging to be on our team and stuff like that, that kind of stuff. So we didn't do what we did before in the past. So it is
yeah.
what it is.
That's kind of what happened. So man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah.
So we just lifing. So I know we're gonna. I think so tomorrow night you're gonna be doing something. So it'll be me and Big Time, and then we'll
Yeah.
come back together next week,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then we'll try to hook up with you next week, do a show with you, and so the schedule is so weird with these Monday night games. I know
Yeah, I
we were
know,
trying to do
man.
our after game thing, so it's been
Yeah,
it's been
because
that kind of year.
hey, let me tell you, man, I really enjoyed doing the after game with y'all, man. So I
Yeah,
thought about it, I said, wait, another Monday night, me and Fastcast ain't gonna be able to do an after game because those
yeah,
games be over with late, man.
yeah. So, and I got to talk to you offline about something that I'm finna do. So I might be out of pocket for a few days. So,
Okay,
hey, you and my son might have to carry the flag a couple of shows.
no problem,
I,
man.
I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, we'll keep it going, man, because what we trying to do, we trying to grow our channel the right way. You trying to
correct.
do the same thing, and so we just have our audience that we gonna hit, and it's the long haul, man. You doing this? It ain't it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So
That's right.
we on the right track.
And you- and
So
and here's the deal: you just gotta stay true to yourself, man. I just don't. And I'm
yeah,
not picking on anyone, but I can never change I can't change my ideas to try to um, gain followers or anything like that. It's just certain things I feel, and that's just what that is, man. And I'm going to stand by that.
yeah,
And so, it's just what it is. And so, hey, I tell people all the time, man, look here. If I grow, I grow, but it's going to be organic, right? It's going to be
yeah,
who I am and the people I collab with, like you, some people I like. I reached out to some other guys. It's just people I like. They might not even be the most have the most followers or anything like that. I just like the conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? And because I'm in this thing, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. You are. I like talking to other diehard Cowboy fans, man. And it's been real. I appreciate you hooking back up with you, man.
and the people been talking about our show. They've been talking about you, so you definitely get noticed. So people are listening to our shows or watching our shows. So it's I think we're doing it the right way. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna have my son come on and wrap this thing up.
All right.
I'm here. Okay. So he said I can just go ahead and do it. So yeah, man, it's been great being on with you again. So our show is Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. So I do a show with my son, and I'm a third generation Cowboy fan. He's a fourth generation, so he grew up around the Cowboys. I did too. So I actually have some championship belts. He hasn't been to an NFC championship game at all. B
Yeah.
Bird, you have some championship Cowboy
Yeah, I got a few.
championship belts.
Hmm.
So we are a little bit more patient. So these younger guys, they just like they can't deal with what's going on right now. So tell us about your show and how to find you.
Yeah, I'm a B-Bird Cowboy. Just started not too long ago, man. Been kind of hit and miss on some videos, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more active. Did take last week off, bye week. Marshawn and Nealon news kind of threw
Hmm.
me for a loop. But just wanted to say, man, look, I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. Passionate about this team, man. Love this community because I can talk Cowboys all day, and this community can too. I mean, I go to work early in the morning, man, and sometimes people will still be on X on their lives and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, these guys
Hmm.
kind of like me, you know what I'm saying? But also, I want to give a shout out because I looked at Twitter and we got 103 people viewing it right now. So just want to tell Twitter thanks for supporting and continue to support us, man. We're going to try to grow this thing organically.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I'll never do anything just for likes or anything. So I just try to be organically us. And I try to find other people that's like that too, that's not doing anything for or changing themselves all the way around. It don't mean that you'll make tweaks that's better, right? As long as
Hmm.
you stay who you are, um, and then I think everything will come around. The people that's going to come around. I used to tell my kids this: continue to be who you are, and the people that want to be around you going to come around you, and they're going to be authentic friends, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you build I think in my mind, you build a solid fan base. just be you. Don't change with the wind. Don't be, fly by night or anything like that. Just be who you are and come out here and let your passion speak. That's what I do, man. So that's
Yeah.
B Bird Cowboy on Twitter and on YouTube. Follow me, man. I'm gonna be putting up some more videos soon, and so yeah, follow me, and we're gonna have a good time.
Okay, and then sometime tomorrow I'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
So I'll just I'll send you a text, and then we can talk offline.
Correct, man. Just give me a call anytime. I'll be at work, man, but I have a lot of free time.
Okay, well I'll do that, man. All right, appreciate it. We're gonna close it up. I'll
right.
talk to you later.
All right, man.
Have a good one.
All right. See you later, Cowboy Nation.